Tonight on CTV News at 6, a country in mourning after one of Canada's deadliest school shootings.
She's just a beautiful soul. She's a light in our family. She was the last person who ever deserved this.
9 people, including the shooter, are dead. That includes several students and a teacher. Plus, how to address this incident with children who may have questions.
Absolutely key here is to remember that our children aren't necessarily asking for the details. What they're actually asking about is safety. Am I safe?
And an abandoned vehicle has one West Edmonton neighborhood begging the city and police to tow it.
Kind of been hard for cars to drive by, especially if it's coming from both directions. And the car's like parked not straight.
That was another warm one today, and the warm weather will stick around right through to the end of the week. Then things start to change.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Nariman Issa.
Good evening. The country is joining a BC community in mourning after one of the worst school shootings in Canadian history. 9 people, including the shooter, are dead. RCMP confirmed it had interactions with the shooter several times in the years prior.
Police had attended that residence on multiple occasions over the past several years, dealing with concerns of mental health with respect to our suspect. I can say that on different occasions the suspect was apprehended for assessment and follow-up.
The shooter has been identified as 18-year-old Tumbler Ridge resident Jesse Van Rootselaar. Tumbler Ridge is a small northeastern BC town with a population of around 2,400 people. CTV News spoke to the parents of one of the victims.
She's just a beautiful soul. She's a light in our family. She loved art and anime. She wanted to go to school in Toronto, and we just loved her so much. She was thriving in high school. She never hurt a soul. She was a supporter, LGBTQ supporter, and she was the last person who ever deserved this.
12-year-old Kylie Smith was in grade 7. Her parents say they didn't know she had been killed until 9 hours after the shooting. Most of the victims were under the age of 15. Now, Miriam Valdez-Carletti joins us live in studio tonight with more. And Miriam, how is Alberta paying its respects today?
Well, Nariman, the provincial government postponed 3 provincial press conferences scheduled for today. The Premier's press secretary says it was out of respect for the community of Tumbler Ridge. A gesture of solidarity. Alberta's flag flying at half-mast for 7 days following the shooting in Tumbler Ridge Tuesday. Premier Danielle Smith posting on social media saying in part, "In times of profound tragedy, Canadians come together. We support our neighbours, our communities, and do everything we can to help each other move forward together." Flags at Edmonton City Hall are also flying half-mast. The Alberta Teachers Association says it's deeply heartbroken by the horrific tragedy that occurred, saying in part, "As educators, our schools are not just buildings. They are the heart of our communities and our sacred spaces where children should always feel safe, nurtured, and protected."
Absolutely key here is to remember that our children aren't necessarily asking for the details. What they're actually asking about is safety. Am I safe? Kids still, that's their primary question. Am I okay?
Child psychologist Tanya Johnson says it's important to use age-appropriate language when addressing what's happened.
When we give too many details, we run the risk of kind of overexposure. So really, we just want to wait and go, okay, tell me what you know. Or what questions do you have?
CASA Mental Health says parents should watch for any changes in their child's behavior.
They might appear more clingy, more irritable, more annoyed, or even withdrawn. And I think one of the first things for parents to know is that that is absolutely normal.
Both the Edmonton Public and Catholic divisions have offered their condolences and support for students and staff. The Public Division sent out a letter to families addressing the tragedy and any potential safety concerns. Nariman?
All right, thank you. That's Miriam Valdez-Carletti joining us live tonight. And we will have more on the victims and the reaction from Ottawa later in the newscast. Now, Alberta RCMP answered to 2 weapons calls today at high schools. Beth Facey Casey and F.R. Haythorne in Sherwood Park were locked down after someone reported seeing a person possibly with a gun at Strathcona Athletic Park. RCMP say they found the person and there was no weapon. Also, Wood Buffalo RCMP say they were called out to a local school after someone said a student had brought a gun. Officers say there was no gun and took someone into custody. RCMP say they will continue to respond quickly to any concerns. A Bonnyville baseball coach has been arrested and charged with child pornography offenses. Alberta law enforcement response teams arrested 48-year-old Michelle Michaud in late January. Michaud is charged with possession, access, and distribution of child sexual abuse and exploitation material, as well as bestiality. Alert says Michaud is not suspected of producing child pornography and wants the Bonnyville baseball community to know they are not searching for victims.
I can absolutely appreciate how upsetting these charges will be for those players, for their parents, the Baseball Association, and for the community as a whole. It's important to note that there is no evidence that any youth were involved in the charges that Michaud is facing.
Michaud is out on bail and will appear in Bonnyville court later this month. Edmonton police have charged a deacon at a local church with sexual assault and sexual interference. Police say the assault happened in November. EPS says Frisbee was working in the Alberta Avenue area at the time. Police believe there may be more victims. A stuck transport truck forced the closure of the high-level bridge today. The truck became wedged inside the century-old bridge around 10:30 this morning. It took about 2 hours to remove the truck and reopen the bridge. Despite signs warning of the low clearance, there's a long history of trucks hitting it. There were 5 incidents last year. In December, the province said it's considering increasing the current $10,000 fine for trucks that hit bridges. Police say charges are pending. Well, people who live in a West Edmonton community say they are frustrated. An abandoned vehicle, poorly parked, has been sitting there for nearly a month. Neighbors say they've contacted Edmonton police and the city with no luck. CTV's Connor Hogg has more on the unwanted local landmark.
It's been here for almost a month now.
Last month, Cyrell Kanglet's security camera caught someone leaving this black Honda in front of his house in Edgemont. They got out, walked away, and to his knowledge, never returned.
Kind of been hard for cars to drive by, especially if it's coming from both directions. And the car is parked not straight.
Both Kanglet and neighbor Wilf Kuhn have been contacting 311 for weeks.
They basically made a note of it and said that, they're very sorry and they'll look into it and they'll take care of it.
The car's tires are now flat. 3 windows are shattered. There are 2 72-hour warning notices and a $50 parking ticket on the windshield. One of those notices is from December and lists a different location in the neighborhood.
Apparently, it's registered to some resident in the area, according to them, but they will try and contact the city to, try and ensure that the broken glass is at least cleaned up.
Kuhn says police told him they can't deal with the vehicle because their impound lot is full. EPS tells CTV News its lot is currently operating at limited capacity because of nearby construction. It needs to prioritize space for vehicles that are seized in connection with a crime or pose a public safety risk.
I guess you can consider this a safety risk now.
If we're not enforcing our community standards, what message does that send to Edmontonians, right?
In the meantime, at least one person is willing to move the car. A scrap dealer left their number for the owner.
The car was sitting there for a long time. If you want to sell your car as is, pick it up.
An offer many on this street would be more than happy with.
I'm extremely disappointed, and it's very unbelievable. I would have never, in my wildest imagination, thought that this kind of thing could be possible.
The neighbors say they're feeling deflated and hopes the owner takes onus. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
A campaign pushing for a referendum on public education funding has failed. Alicia Taylor organized the citizen-led petition. It asked if the province should end its practice of allocating public funds to private schools. Taylor says more than 123,000 Albertans signed the petition. While the number of signatures gathered falls short of the more than 177,000 needed, Taylor says the campaign engaged Albertans.
a good number of the people that we encountered out in public, the ones that weren't seeking us out, when we asked them the question, they were surprised, and that was a common conversation among canvassers. They couldn't believe how many people in the general public aren't aware of this issue.
Taylor says more than 2,000 volunteers helped with the petition. She hopes they will continue advocating for reduced funding to private schools. Elections Alberta will now do an official signature count. On the heels of a poll showing a minority of Albertans feel strongly about separating from Canada, a professor who studies misinformation says he's seeing some familiar patterns around public discourse. An Angus Reid poll published this week shows 8% of Albertans polled would definitely vote to leave Canada, with another 21% leaning that way. Timothy Caulfield is Canada Research Chair in Health Law and Policy at the University of Alberta. He says vocal minorities can sometimes have an outsized influence on discourse around an issue. He says online echo chambers can make people believe they are actually a part of a majority, and that polarizing topics like separation are driven by social media algorithms.
Research tells us that rage and grievance and fear drives our social media algorithms. So if you can weigh into a topic that is polarizing, that is built on grievance, you're more likely to get clicks. And I worry that we're going to see that happen in the separation debate. It already is.
Now, he says he hopes to see government officials try to bring down the temperature on the separation issue and promote more informed discourse. A tasty celebration of Black History Month is happening at Norquest College. A competition was held today that acknowledges the importance of rice in Black, African, and Caribbean communities. Students were able to taste and vote on 5 different rice dishes from Haiti, Somalia, Ghana, Burundi, and Eritrea. Each dish has its own distinct and unique flavors specific to the history and geography of where it originated.
Community is really important to us, so we do community through food, through music, and just gathering together to just celebrate joy.
Now, this is one of several events at Norquest celebrating Black History Month. Well, you may be familiar with Happy Beer Street. That's a section of 99th Street just south of White Avenue, home to 10 craft breweries. Now, some of those businesses and the owners are now pushing the city to make it easier to hold pedestrian-friendly events in the area by creating a new entertainment district. CTV's Jeremy Thompson explains.
It's the mid-afternoon lull at this distillery and burger shop. It's one of multiple booze-based businesses on 78th Ave, a road that's not always this quiet.
We actually hosted Shitty's our birthday there, and we had over 6,000 people in attendance with the street shut down. We had extended patio, and people really love it.
Business owners want to host more events like that, but every application for a special event license requires a barrage of emails to the city and AGLC.
The bureaucracy that goes into hosting that is extremely difficult and very limiting on how many times we can do that per year.
Their solution is a new entertainment district, a one-block zone that can be closed to traffic and act like one big beer garden.
Anywhere that you got a dedicated area that you can jump from restaurant to restaurant or patio to patio is a really good thing.
The first event I think we have on the calendar, should it pass, is an adult book fair with the folks at the Audrey's Bookshop.
The city says its 2 existing entertainment districts on Rice Howard Way and 104th Street downtown have been successful without a rise in public drunkenness or other disorders.
So I think we should do it. Ideas like this, we need more of this in the city, not less.
This street does come with challenges. Street parking is already a struggle, and there's only one sidewalk. The city built a new bike lane from White Ave last fall, but it ends 2 blocks away.
I think it has to create an area where people feel they can go, they can have some entertainment, they can have some interaction, but it doesn't impact others around here negatively, like the dance studio.
Staff at Mile Zero tell CTV they generally support the idea and hope the studio can benefit too. City Council will vote on the new entertainment district next week. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
You know, it's only February, but I think it could be patio weather. Looking
I
at
was
all
just
those
gonna say.
businesses. We need to open up some patios around here.
Well, only for a couple more days because winter is coming back and it will start to slide in early next week. Through the weekend, we gradually start to cool down, but it's really kind of Monday, Tuesday that temperatures drop back below zero for daytime highs and then just progressively get cooler after that. -6, your morning low today. -4 is the average high for this time of year. We got to 7 for a daytime high. Well, 6.8. And that is important because had we gotten to 7.0, we would have tied 1916 for the most consecutive days, 7 or warmer in February. That streak is going to end instead at 9 consecutive days. So we'll be tied for the second longest streak. Look at last year, we had 7 straight days. That was the last 7 days of February, though, not early in the month. 3 degrees in downtown Edmonton right now, and skies are pretty clear after some clouds earlier in the day today. We'll show you the satellite map in a second, but this is what it looks like from the CTV drone. It's brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. A nice little sliver of gold off on the horizon there. Skies are going to stay clear, it looks like, for the next few hours, but there's the cloud that went through this afternoon. That's part of the reason we only got to 6.8 instead of 7.0. There's the clouds off to the northwest of the Edmonton region. They were producing some showers and some snow south of Grand Prairie, but that's all going to fall apart, that precipitation, before it hits the Edmonton region. So just some clouds overnight tonight, and then back to sunshine for tomorrow. -4 in the morning and about 7 in the afternoon. We'll talk more about that cool down that's coming for the weekend and next week in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Josh. Well, still ahead, saying goodbye.
I saw where my husband and daughter's ashes were placed.
A gift of closure on a flight over Howling Peak. Plus, an orphaned bear cub is rescued in Slave Lake.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
An orphaned black bear cub found in Slave Lake is receiving care from an animal rescue organization. The bear was found in poor health while attempting to den on someone's deck. The Alberta Institute for Wildlife Conservation, just north of Calgary, has taken him in. It says the cub weighs half the healthy weight for a cub his age. Now, he also had injuries to his paw and nose. The staff suspect the mother was killed and says without her guidance, the cub couldn't hibernate on its own. Now, they hope to release the cub back into the wild in June. A Calgary senior fulfilled a long-held dream today. She finally saw the mountain peak where her husband and daughter's ashes were scattered. CTV's Kevin Green reports.
86-year-old Louise Barnett has never been to the top of Howling Peak, but she's always wanted to see it. It's where the ashes of her husband and daughter were laid to rest.
And I wasn't able to do that. It was just too much of a challenge.
Wednesday, she boarded a Cessna 182 at Springbank Airport, destined for the mountains west of Calgary. Her wish coming true thanks to the staff at Rocky Ridge Retirement Community.
Once we received Louise's wish, we just had to run with it. And thank you to Calgary Flying Club. We're able to make that happen, and she's going to have a magical day in the mountains.
Louise's daughter joined her on the flight.
It's my dad and my sister, and it's at the top of Howling, so my goal is to hike up there this year, so it'll be really nice to be able to fly over to see where their ashes are.
The Calgary Flying Club donated the flight, arranging for pilot Jeremy Heemstra to take them out over the 2,400-meter peak.
And when I learned kind of about the context and the background of this, it was a no-brainer for me. Like, I felt honored and privileged to kind of be handpicked by the CFI here. So, yeah, I was excited right away when I heard about it.
After just over an hour in the air, Louise was back on terra firma with her wish come true and something more, too.
And I saw where my husband and daughter's ashes were placed. So on the whole, it was really nice. It was another closure, but it was a happy closure again.
Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, still ahead, a podium finish for Canadian ice dancers.
They've been working really hard. They're an amazing pair together.
What happened on day 5 of the Olympic Games, and
We wanted to do at least have one big Canadian game where we would be with a bunch of Canadian fans.
How Canadians are celebrating without a Canada House. Stay with us.
A couple more really warm days, and then things start to cool off. Monday should be our first day back below zero for daytime highs. Your full forecast after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by Senior Home Care by Angels, Canada's choice in home care.
A busy day for Canadians at the Milano Cortina Games, including a first Olympic podium appearance for some veteran ice dancers. CTV's Scott Hurst has more.
A podium finish for Canadian ice dancers Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier, their first Olympic medal.
They've been working really hard. They're an amazing pair together. They've been together for about 15 years now.
The 3-time Olympians were in third after the rhythm dance. They put down a score of 131.56 in the free dance for a combined total of 217.74, and that secured them the bronze medal. Reigning Olympic silver medalist in the men's speed skating 1,000-meter, Laurent Dubreuil, was one of 3 Canadians racing for a medal in the event at Milano Cortina. Dubreuil, however, failed to reach the podium this time around, finishing 8th overall. A thrilling finish in the women's freestyle moguls event. Saskatchewan's Maya Schwinghammer reaching the top 8 medal round, putting down a final run score of 77.61. She was just off the podium, however, 5th in her first Olympic Games. Another Olympic final is booked for Elizabeth Hosking in snowboard halfpipe. The Quebec athlete in her 3rd Olympic Games was 8th in qualifying today. The 12-rider final takes place on Thursday. 4 Canadians were taking part in the men's Super G. Jack Crawford, the top athlete wearing the maple leaf, placing 16th in the alpine skiing event, about a second and a half behind the winner. Medals were on the line in biathlon. The top Canadian was 23-year-old Calgarian Pascal Parody, finishing in 24th place. 4-player curling is now underway. Team Brad Jacobs opening up their Milano Cortina experience with a win over Germany. Men's hockey is now officially underway. Canada's first game is tomorrow against Czechia. The women will wrap up their preliminary round in a game tomorrow as well against Finland. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Olympic House is a space that brings together Team Canada athletes, their families, and fans at the Olympic Games. However, this year, there is no Canada House. Instead, Canadians in Milan are rallying together to organize their own hangouts and viewing parties. CTV's Garrett Barry reports.
A friendly invasion, a sea of red taking over this Milan sports bar and making it, man, I feel like a woman, the unofficial Canada HQ.
This is an amazing place. I've just got a whole new room full of friends here.
What started with a few WhatsApp messages and Facebook callouts has become an act of some international diplomacy on one of the world's biggest stages.
People see my Canadian flag on my lapel, only the best energy that's given back to me. I'm really proud to be Canadian.
The Canadians are filling the chairs.
We have a lot of Olympic tickets, but we wanted to do at least have one big Canadian game where we would be with a bunch of Canadian fans.
If you see us hanging out here, come on over and say hi. We're making friends, meeting people from all over the country.
They're flipping the channels over to hockey and explaining the rules to everyone around.
I've seen the sport before, but I've never understood it. I've been educated by Jason's, like offensive line and the blue line.
The Italian staff can't seem to get enough.
Love this place, Blues Canal, because we are like to building a place where people can just be themselves, bringing something from their country.
Gabriella told me that her new Canadian customers and friends are always trying to solve problems and really are just nice. Garrett Barry, CTV News, Milan.
Okay, weather time. Josh said it earlier. Winter is returning, and I even said it's going to hit really badly when winter returns because we're all like, it's spring. We're done.
Well, I mean, if you look at these temperatures, we're probably -10 to -15 range for daytime highs towards the end of next week. So we're going to see at least a 20-degree swing in temperatures over the course of the next week. We'll show you that in just a second. First, what it looks like outside with the River Valley Sky Cam. It's brought to you by Action Furnace Fixed Rider. It's free. We've dropped to 3 after hitting a high of 7 earlier today. 4 in Fort McMurray, high level at -9. That's the outlier. Everybody else above 0 today. In the 5-degree range in Grand Prairie, and 2 in Lloydminster. You've got some flurries that have popped up here off to the north. Those will track through the Fort McMurray region. This precipitation has really kind of been falling apart after seeing some rain earlier in the day today south of Grand Prairie. Looks like it's maybe getting a little more organized there just west of Whitecourt. We're not expecting anything in the Edmonton region, just some clouds overnight tonight. There may be a few more flurries here in through parts of northeastern Alberta and certainly through the Fort McMurray region later on this evening. But for Edmonton, surrounding areas should be just cloudy overnight tonight. By tomorrow morning, those clouds start to clear out. So mainly sunny to partly cloudy skies. And again, a high of about 7 degrees tomorrow afternoon. I think even Friday, we're probably in that 5 or 6 degree range for a high. -1 right now in Fort McMurray, 3s in Grand Prairie and Edmonton. And you've already slipped to -3 in Red Deer. Again, as we point out, sometimes when you see temperatures like this that seem anomalously cool, that is at the airport. You're probably still hovering right around 0 in town. Coronation, though, has dropped to -2. -1 by midnight tonight here in the city. Some increased cloud cover through this evening and cloudy skies overnight tonight. Those clouds will clear tomorrow morning. We'll get to about -4 in the morning, and then about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll hit our daytime high of about 7 degrees with mainly sunny skies and light wind. Wind should be about 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. 5 or 6 on Friday with partly cloudy conditions once again. Your morning lows, handful of degrees below 0, on par with the average highs for this time of year. 3 degrees Saturday with some increase in cloud late in the day. Mostly cloudy. I've got 0 in the forecast for Sunday. There's a chance we're still maybe +1 or +2. Monday should be the first day below 0 for a daytime high and a chance of some flurries late in the day. Watch this drop in temperatures. Nice and warm today, really warm tomorrow, especially in western and southern parts of the province. We'll probably see some double-digit daytime highs. There's Friday, still looks pretty good. Here's Saturday, especially off to the west and to the south. You still have some green on the map. Even Sunday, still dealing with some decent temperatures, but all of a sudden that green is gone by the time you hit Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, temperatures just continue to drop. And by the end of next week, -10 to -15 range looks like a pretty safe bet with mornings in the -20s. Oh, and there's more snow on the way as well. So not only feeling more like winter, but probably looking more like winter. So we could pick up maybe 5 to 10 centimeters of snow through the course of the week next week.
All right, thank you, Josh. Well, coming up on CTV News, more questions and answers in the Tumbler Ridge school shooting.
Well, we don't have an idea yet as to motive. And again, recognizing we're still less than 24 hours into this incident, it is something that we are certainly passionately pursuing.
Trying to dissect the motive behind a deadly shooting. Also,
what happened has left our nation in shock.
Canadian politicians are paying their respects to the victims of the Tumbler Ridge shooting.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Returning to our top story, there are many questions about how one of the deadliest school shootings in Canadian history could have occurred. While those answers will take some time, many are trying to come to terms their community has forever changed. CTV's Andrew Johnson is in Tumbler Ridge, BC tonight and has more.
A heartbreaking symbol of a tight-knit community in mourning.
This is a deeply distressing incident.
Shortly after 1:20 local time Tuesday, an alert was sent out to residents warning an active shooter may be in the community. The RCMP say they rushed to Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, where at least 25 people were found injured. 6 others, a 39-year-old female educator, 3 female 12-year-old students, and 2 male students ages 12 and 13 were found dead inside the school of just 160 students.
Families are just mourning in their own way. Everybody has their own way of expressing remorse and grief, and we give them their comfort zone.
Police say the suspect, who was found at the school dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, was 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar, a resident of Tumbler Ridge. The suspect's 39-year-old mother, Jennifer Strang, and 11-year-old stepbrother, Emmett, were found dead at the suspect's home.
Well, we don't have an idea yet as to motive. And again, recognizing we're still less than 24 hours into this incident, it is something that we are certainly passionately pursuing, but it would be too early to speculate on motive.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
RCMP initially identified 25 additional surviving victims, but have since clarified most of those people were uninjured, but had to be triaged by medical staff because they had blood on them. Now, a GoFundMe page has been set up by the Tumbler Ridge Parent Advisory Committee to support the families impacted by the shooting. As of about an hour ago, it has reached 90% of its target. The money will provide essential assistance to the families to support daily needs and help with ongoing recovery efforts. It will also help with funeral costs and mental health supports. The shooting in Tumbler Ridge is among the deadliest mass casualty events in recent Canadian history. The deadliest was in Nova Scotia in 2020 when a gunman who at times posed as a police officer killed 22 people over a 13-hour rampage. In Montreal in 1989, a gunman killed 14 students, all women, before taking his own life at École Polytechnique. Now that is the worst school shooting, now followed by Tumbler Ridge, with 9 people dead, including the shooter. The Prime Minister cancelled his trip to the Munich Security Conference in Germany to be in BC following the school shooting. Now, in the House of Commons, MPs were visibly shaken. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
The maple leaf at half-mast, a pall over Parliament after the school shooting in Tumbler Ridge.
Parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, began this day as their first day on earth without someone they loved dearly. What happened has left our nation in shock.
The tragedy was marked by a moment of silence in the House of Commons, and the grief was felt across party lines.
As a father, I can't even imagine the phone calls that parents might have received. I can't imagine the heartache and hell that they're living through.
MPs are grappling with how the scale of the tragedy will be magnified in a town of 2,400 people.
This violence unfolded at a school, a place meant to nurture and protect our children.
For some, it brings back painful memories. In small-town Saskatchewan, a decade ago, a teenage gunman killed 4 people in La Loche. Buckley Belanger was a provincial politician at the time.
The community is going to have a tough time moving forward. A lot of questions, but powerful emotions that they're going through right now.
For others, the scourge of gun violence is felt deeper today. Just hours after the mass murder in BC, another tragedy unfolded in Quebec. On Kitigan-Zibi First Nation, a father killed his 2 children, then shot himself.
To lose 2 children like that is just an unbelievable thing.
A mass shooting is an incident where 3 or more people are shot. According to Statistics Canada data, since the year 2000, there have been 80 mass shootings in Canada. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
There were fireworks on Capitol Hill today as Attorney General Pam Bondi clashed with lawmakers over the Department of Justice's handling of the Epstein files.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the question the way I asked it.
Bondi was defiant in defending the administration as the questioning often turned into personal attacks. Democrats and at least one Republican slammed the Attorney General for redacting names of possible co-conspirators, but not redacting some names and personal information of Epstein's victims. Bondi was asked to apologize to Epstein survivors, some of which were in the room. She did not. Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019 while awaiting trial for sex trafficking of minors. So far, just one person is serving prison time. That's Epstein's female co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. Actor James Van Der Beek, the star of the 90s teen drama Dawson's Creek, has died.
Joy, listen to me. If we are truly meant to be, then we will find a way back to each other. It's as simple as that.
Van Der Beek led a generation along an emotional roller coaster as Dawson Larry, the namesake star of the hit show. He also starred in the high school football classic Varsity Blues. The father of 6 died at the age of 48 after a battle with bowel cancer. His wife posted that he met his final days with courage, faith, and grace. Well, still to come, doggy donors needed.
The need is quite great for canine blood, and you have to be a specific candidate as a canine dog donor.
What it takes for a dog to qualify, also ahead. The Edmonton Elks take the reins when it comes to CFL free agency. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 73 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up 67 cents, closing the day at $64.63 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $67 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both ended the day lower, down 2 points and 66 points respectively. The Edmonton Elks are celebrating an aggressive CFL free agency season. The Elks have signed 7 players since yesterday, a new backup quarterback, 2 wide receivers, and high-profile help on both the offensive and defensive lines. Now, that includes former NFLer Malik Carney, one of the league's premier pass rushers.
Great facility, great community, a lot of support, man, and I'm excited to play. The roster looks amazing. I'm excited to play.
Now, the Elks start the preseason in Vancouver on May 23rd. The regular season kicks off June 6th in Ottawa. The back-to-back TELUS Cup champion Red Deer Chiefs have been chosen to enter Alberta's Hockey Hall of Fame. The U18 team won championships in 2012 and 2013. Head coach Doug Quinn says the club won the cups with 2 completely different lineups. He says he was a bit surprised to get the call to the Hall. Quinn adds it's a testament to the culture and work ethic of the organization.
It was such a good group of players, coaches, just everything together, and all the commitment and hard work that went into it. So, yeah, it was very satisfying.
Other inductees in this year's class include NHL legends Colin Patterson and Paul Coffey. A gala will be held in July for this year's class in Red Deer. An Alberta motivational speaker will try and become a Guinness World Record holder this weekend. Frisbee Rob, as he's known, will launch a flying disc from a long range through a regulation basketball hoop in front of a live audience. Now, Rob has spoken to more than 250,000 students across Canada with his message of turning failure into fuel. Now, he already holds 13 Guinness World Records. He's going to make his try for number 14 at the BMO Centre in Calgary. Every day, ill and injured animals rely on blood donations, and yet most people don't think about it until their pet needs it. Today, an emergency vet clinic in Okotoks hosted a Valentine's Day-themed doggy blood drive to get the word out. CTV's Jacqueline Wilson has the details.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some have 4 paws and a wagging tail.
All right, Pepsi, you're up.
13 dogs, including Pepsi, donated blood. Owner Cheryl Brown signed up 3 of her 4 dogs.
After working in a vet clinic, I've realized that the need is quite great for canine blood. And you have to be a specific candidate as a canine dog donor, so you have to be between 1 to 8 years old, over 55 pounds, calm-mannered, and up to date on all your vaccines and in good health. And this guy kind of fit the bill here.
The dogs were pampered with treats, ice cream, and a photo shoot. Each appointment is about 30 minutes, but the procedure itself is much shorter.
The initial blood draw only takes typically between 3 to 5 minutes, so it's pretty quick. It doesn't take too long. And one donation can save up to 3 lives.
There are more than 12 blood groupings for dogs, which is tested at the beginning of the appointment along with a health check.
The blood type that we test for is DEA1, which is dog erythrocyte antigen 1. And the reason we test for that one is because it is clinically significant. There's a positive and a negative, with negative being our universal donor.
Durgas says there's always need for new donors, as blood is used for a variety of reasons in veterinary medicine.
Trauma, in case of dogs, it could be parvovirus, von Willebrand's disease, hemolytic anemias, cancer therapy treatments, toxicities. So there's lots of different uses for the blood.
These doggo donations make sure that there's always blood available for others in need. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Okotoks.
Well, still to come, the art of distraction.
I just love doing it. It makes me feel good, takes my mind off the things that I shouldn't be thinking about.
How this mural became a much bigger deal than just an art project.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
After receiving a terminal diagnosis, a BC man decided to fill his remaining days with hope and creativity, turning a blank wall outside his home into something that's inspired his entire neighborhood. CTV's Adam Sawatsky reports.
After spending years refurbishing convertibles, Charlie Bates found himself with a bunch of old paint in his carport.
I might as well splash it on the wall.
So he painted a picture of Bugs Bunny, followed by Santa Claus and his dog, Cookie.
I just love doing it. It makes me feel good, takes my mind off the things that I shouldn't be thinking about.
Take Charlie's mind off that diagnosis.
Well, according to doctors, I'm dead.
After being told he had just months to live, Charlie decided to make the most of the time he has left.
I just want to enjoy life day to day right now.
So he started waking up before dawn to marvel at the stars in the sky.
It's amazing.
Before painting the solar system on his wall.
Everything started to become a story for me where I could add to it and just let it flow.
A story about our place in the universe that explores serious topics like astronomy, biology, and history, while never forgetting to have a whole lot of fun along the way.
I had no idea what the end result was going to be, or that people would even be interested in looking at it.
But it turns out the kids in the community got a kick out of the cartoon characters, while his neighbors, like Laura Beaulieu, were amazed by the scope of it.
I see him out here in the cold, and I'm thinking, he is determined. He is inspirational.
You see, while Charlie was filling his wall, Laura was also battling cancer.
And he was always positive and happy, and it really gave me hope.
Because although life can seem as overwhelming and complex as this mural, if you look at it from Charlie's perspective, if you can be both productive and positive, he says, it's all quite simple.
Well, enjoy every minute that you're alive. It's the best it's ever been.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Coquitlam.
One last look at your forecast. We'll be around -4 tomorrow morning. We've got some cloud cover that'll roll in here later on this evening, kind of insulate things overnight. And then the clouds should move out in the morning. So we'll see a decent amount of sunshine tomorrow with temperatures up to about 7, 5 or 6 for a high on Friday. And then the cool down starts this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. That's still not bad. That's still way above average. By Monday, we're back to around average. Chance of some flurries or light snow Monday night into Tuesday morning. Wednesday and Thursday, we've got some snow. That could be several centimeters worth. Friday, maybe some more flurries. And the big story is the drop in temperature. Back in the -10 to 15 range by the end of the week.
We can do this. Just one more month, really, of winter.
And 3 more really warm days.
It's all the time after tonight. Thank you. I'm doing that. Yeah.